Hi, I'm professional house planner Jack Thomason, and I've had the privilege of working with Shaw Floors on custom home projects across North America for television, magazines, and online. Today I'm going to show you how to install Shaw's laminate flooring. All of Shaw's laminate, and most laminate today, should be installed using the floating method. This means that the planks are locked together but not attached to the wall or to the floor. Before you begin, make sure you've read all of the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Some of the most important things you can do to ensure a successful installation take place even before you install the first plank. When your laminate floors arrive at your home, you should place them in the room where you will install them, which means it needs to adjust to the ambient temperature of the room, which should be between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit from the time the laminate arrives through installation and afterwards. The humidity level should be kept between 35% and 65%. Another important part of your prep work is moisture testing. Moisture and laminate don't mix. Now you can buy an expensive tool to test this, or you can easily test your concrete subfloor for moisture by taping a trash bag to the floor along all four sides, creating a seal. After 48 hours, you can check to see if any moisture was captured by the trash bag. If you do think moisture might be a problem, it might be necessary to use a more advanced test. Follow the link below to learn more. Now, gather everything you'll need to lay the floor. The materials you'll need are an underlayment vapor retarder, electric saw, safety glasses, dust mask, glue, hammer, painter's tape, pull bar, tape measure, utility knife, 1/4-inch wall spacers, wood chisel, transitions, and moldings. You can install your laminate floors over almost any existing flooring except carpet, as long as it's clean, dry, and flat within 1/8 of an inch in any 6-foot section. Use a 6-foot straight edge to determine any low spots, and if any spots exceed 1/8 of an inch, fill them in with a Portland cement leveling compound. All laminate installations need an underlayment as a moisture barrier and sound insulator. If your subfloor is concrete, you must use a vapor retarder under your laminate. A minimum 6 mil polyethylene sheeting is required. Roll out the plastic, overlapping the seam areas 6 to 8 inches, and tape the seams with a clear plastic sealing tape. If your subfloor is wood, you don't need a plastic vapor barrier, and underlayment seams should not be sealed. Common choices for wood subfloors are 2-in-1 or 3-in-1 foam underlayments, which offer increasing levels of comfort, insulation, and sound reduction. Remove quarter round and undercut door frames to provide the necessary clearance for the laminate. It's possible that you may need to remove baseboards as well. One final prep question: is your room more than 40 feet wide in any direction? If so, you'll need to use T-molding to allow for expansion and protect the structural integrity of your floor. We'll talk more about T-moldings and other transition pieces later. Begin by opening the boxes and inspecting the planks for damage. As you install, you'll want to pull planks from multiple boxes to achieve an even color variety across the floor. First, you need to decide which direction to run the planks. Many people prefer the look of planks running parallel to incoming sunlight. Some people prefer to base the direction of the planks on traffic pattern in and out of the room. The choice is up to you. Once you know the direction, you'll decide your starting wall. Most people start with an exterior wall because those walls are often straighter than interior walls, making it easier, but either wall will do. Now, what I'm about to tell you may be the most confusing part of an installation. We're going to determine the size of our first and last rows. Why? Because the room will look more beautiful if the first and last rows are equal size. The sign of a new installer is a first row that's 6 inches wide and a last row that's 3. Before you start your first row, measure the room. Divide the width of the laminate product you're installing. How many planks will it hold? Half of what remains will be the size of the first row, and the other half will be the size of the last. Keep in mind, though, that no row should ever be less than 2 inches in width. Facing the starting wall, begin laying down the planks working left to right. At the end of most rows, you'll need to cut the length of the plane to fit, keeping in mind the necessary expansion space. This is a spacer. You'll use 1/4-inch spacers to maintain the proper expansion gap around the entire perimeter of the floor and around cabinets, pipes, and any other obstacles in the floor. As you begin the second row, you'll need to stagger joints at least 12 inches. This will give the floor an attractive, natural appearance. For this installation, we're using laminate planks that have a wood look, but tile looks are also available. If you choose a tile look, you'll need to stagger the boards by 1 tile length, always making sure the grout lines match up. Shaw's laminate planks snap together easily. This particular flooring uses the VersaLock AG system. Start by connecting the new plank to the previous plank in the same row. Use a slight angle and press downward until the joint locks like this. Then lift the edge of your current row slightly and slide the new plank back until it fits into the long groove of the previous row. Rotate down and it's locked in. If your flooring uses the lock-in-place installation system, you'll snap the boards together like this, connecting first along the length of the board to the previous row, then rotating down into the end joint of the previous plank in the same row. Repeat this process across the floor. As you go, check the groove on every plank to make sure it's clean and free of debris. After installing the first 2 planks of each row, place a weight on the first plank of each row to hold it in place. Continue installing the rest of the floor, making sure the joints are staggering at least 12 inches. When you reach the last row, it's possible that you won't have enough room to rotate the plank for a solid lock. In this case, use a wood chisel or rasp to remove the ridge of the tongue of the previous plank and then put a line of adhesive along it before pushing the new plank into place. And remember, as you install the last row, you'll still need to leave a 1/4-inch expansion gap. Once you've finished, you can install the transition pieces, also known as moldings, to give your floor a beautifully finished look. 1/4 round is ideal for covering that important expansion gap you were so careful to leave. For doorways, you'll want a T molding or a multi-purpose reducer, depending on the height of the floor in the next room. These pieces create an attractive and safe transition from one floor to another.